strengthening across the back. And we'll start with our back strengthening. So we're going to rotate the arms externally, thumbs pointed well out to the side, fingertips behind us. We bring our elbows to rest against the side of the rib cage. We keep the legs engaged by keeping the feet flexed, bringing the calves down to the ground, tightening through the quadriceps to bring the hamstrings down to the ground. Now we're going to do that same pelvic tilt. We're doing the same stretch upward. So we're thinking about the zipper, pubic bone to belly button, to solar plexus to heart, up through the neck into the chin, but watching the bend of the neck, making sure that we can still keep our breath gentle, fluid, easy. Stretching upward, pressing strongly into the floor and lifting tall. And then as we exhale, we're going to slide our feet together so we can come into Dandasana. We're going to plant our hands flat on the floor, and now we're going through lengthening through the spine. So we're pressing those hands down, slightly externally rotated, feeling as though we're going to even lift our hips off the floor without actually doing so. We continue to keep the feet flexed if we want to keep the work being done through the legs. Recognizing that our spine collapses as the day goes along, so now we're trying to lengthen it and get it back to its morning size. And then releasing the hands, we're going into our Paschimottanasana, our seated forward fold. So we think about this movement being a pelvic bowl movement so we can stretch the muscles of the back that have been doing so much curling up. We're going to plant our hands on the floor, on our legs. We start with that pelvic tilt. We watch that the chin is not lifting or dropping, and we slowly come down. Thinking that a good rule of thumb for any yoga pose is to come into it halfway, finding our point of relaxation and calmness, serenity, before we start moving with our breath. Taking a deep breath in as we exhale, seeing if we can drop a little lower, a little lower, a little lower, until we reach the full expression of the pose. If we easily reach our feet, we might want to drop the elbows down to the ground. We're going to take our time on stretching that back. Latissimus dorsi, getting a nice long stretch. Muscles through the back of the hips. Abdominals are tightening, contracting to get the belly even closer in toward the thighs. Quadriceps are contracting as well to allow us to get even lower. And then releasing our hands and slowly sitting up. We're going to bend through the knees, curving onto the backs of our thighs so that we can roll down to the floor. And do some more working on the back, stretching through the chest. At the same time, we're going to be doing a little bit more work on the abdominals, so that as we strengthen through the abdominals, make them do the work, we're going to have some stretching through the back. We're going to start by going into our dead bug. So we're going to pull our knees in toward the chest. If we're feeling any tension in our back, we might think about doing our pelvic rocks, pulling the knees really tight with our hands on our knees, and then straightening out the arms, pushing the knees just long enough to get the arms straight. Exhaling, pulling knees back into chest. Really feeling that waistline push into the floor, feeling the pressure of the floor against our back. And then bringing the arms straight. One more time. And now we're going to slide the right knee to the right, left knee to the left so that we can come into our dead bug. We keep our knees as low as we can into the floor. We open across the shoulders, let the entire back feel as though it's pressing down, except for the cervical, the neck. So we feel the shoulders pushing that thoracic spine down into the ground. We feel the lumbar spine around our waistline. Feel that sacral spine moving toward the floor. And moving nothing but our lower legs, we're going to bring that right foot up so that the heel of the foot comes directly over our knee, doing the same thing with the left. We can continue to hold on to the backs of the thighs. If we have long enough arms to do so comfortably, we can bring our hands between our legs, holding on to the outside of the feet, or wrapping 2 fingers and a thumb around the big toe. Pulling down lower and lower, stretching that back, pressing it into the ground. And now now working on the abdominals so that we get more of a stretch through the back. We're going to bring both hands over to our left leg, pulling it as low as we can, straightening out our right leg. And we're going to make a choice depending upon how much work we want to put into the abdominals. We're going to leave the foot off the floor and bring it all the way down. We're going to release the right hand and stretch it out toward our right foot, then lift head, neck, and shoulders and push down toward their toes. And then slowly lowering head, neck, and shoulders back to the floor. Pulling the right knee back to come into our dead bug again. Grip of choice. Pushing the entire spine from the shoulders to the tailbone as low as we can into the floor before we switch to the opposite side. So we straighten out the left leg, working it down. Maybe heel touching the floor, maybe keeping it somewhat lifted. Trying to bring that right knee even lower down. Then lifting head, neck, and shoulders. Stretching out the left hand toward the left foot. Feeling the muscles of the back stretch as we contract the muscles through the abdominals. Then lowering head, neck, and shoulders. Bringing both feet up to the sky. And letting the right knee float to the right, left knee to the left, still keeping that back firmly planted on the ground. We're going to take both hands. Bring the palms down between our legs. Working on abdominal strength again, stretching through the back. We'll take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we lift head, neck, and shoulders and push those hands out to the wall in front of us. And then slowly lowering down. We'll bring our feet together, our hands around to the floor on either side. We're going to tuck our thumbs in underneath our sit bones, palms flat on the ground. We're thinking about keeping that spine protected, pushing down, especially through the waistline, and keeping that spine firmly on the ground, taking our time, lowering our legs. Remembering that if we're feeling any strain through the back, we're going to bend the knees for a more gentle version. As we come down, if we feel as though we want to let the heels hover off the floor, we can do that. We will take responsibility for the pose, staying in it only as long as we choose before we drop those heels all the way down. And then working on our bridge pose to again strengthen the muscles in the back by making them do the work while we stretch the muscles through the abdominals, the front of the chest. We plant our feet flat on the floor, bringing our heels as close as we can to our sit bones. We bring our hands as tight as we can in toward our sides. Thumbs again can be touching against our sit bones. We make sure as we start lifting that we don't let the knees move out to the side, so we keep the pressure of the push into the floor on both the inner and outer edges of the feet. We will work with our breath a couple times first, so as we contract the glutes, we're going to start lifting the spine vertebra by vertebra, stretching upward through the belly, pushing in through the shoulders, and then as we exhale, we'll drop slowly down, starting from the highest part of the spine to the lowest. Lifting up again with our breath, and exhaling down. And we can keep moving with our breath, especially if we have issues like arthritis. We want to make sure our feet are as close as possible as we start lifting. We're squeezing all the muscles on the back so the hamstrings tighten, the glutes tighten. If we'd like, we can slide our hands even further underneath so we can interlace our fingers. We can bring our hands to the back of the hips. We can bring our hands into our ankles. We're externally rotating the arms so we get the triceps, the posterior deltoids pressing into the ground, helping us get the lift that we'd like. So the muscles that are doing the work are the ones on the back, the glutes, latissimus dorsi, trapezius, rhomboids, all pushing upward, tightening, lifting, getting as much lift as we can of those hips. And then as we exhale, slowly lowering down. Letting that back firmly on the floor. If we're feeling any tension at all, we might want to let the knees drop side to side before we finish off with our fitch. We're going to straighten out both legs. Turn our hands so the palms are flat on the floor. We're going to roll over on our left hip and slide the right